Okay, this is Kim Willis with my little presentation today. It's more like a little training class. How to quickly leverage your networks and gain more referrals and clients. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? And without being a content slave or doing cold outreach. All right, let's get straight into it. Obviously, I'm your presenter, I'm your coach, teacher, whatever you want to call me, idiot, I don't mind. Kim Willis, your client acquisition wingman, hustle muscle when you need it. Now, this is how we're going to spend our time. Section 1 will be a little topic I call referrals and me. Section 2, moolah magic. Well, it's about money, of course, isn't it? We'll talk about that. Fast start, it's about leverage. You want to get off to a fast start? You want to get some results within weeks, not months or years? Wow, you're going to love this one. Then section 4 will be go for growth. It's about new assets. What sort of assets are we talking about? Is it money or something else? Number 5 is exponential growth, your referral ecosystem. Yeah, a lot of people are getting more interested in this topic every day. Number 6, demand creation. Inbound easier than outbound. I've done both. Outbound works, given the right circumstances, the right techniques and skills. But inbound is easier when people are leaning forward and they're saying, hey, I need some help. All right, first one, referrals and me. All right, now I got started in the world of sales, belly-to-belly sales, when I was 19 years of age. Bit wet around the ears, very shy, and I don't know, I think I must have been crazy at the time, but I chose probably the hardest thing to do in the sales environment, and that is to knock on doors. Knock on doors. I was recruited into the job by someone who was the number one seller of these books called Modern Ways to Health, volumes 1 and 2. I got to know him through my church, and he not only was he the number one seller in the world, this is in Sydney, Australia, but he beat the Americans at their own game. He became the sales. He was also the sales manager, so he taught me in classroom setting with some other guys and a couple of ladies. I recall. I was 19, so I just don't honestly remember. And then he said at the end of the training course, said, okay, next Monday, everyone, you take your chosen area and you get in your car, your motorbike or whatever it is, and go to the chosen area and start knocking on doors and see if you can do some presentations, get into people's houses, etc. And Friday, you call in with your results. Obviously, if you make a sale, you phone in before Friday, but everyone needs to phone in on Friday, irrespective of whether you've made a sale or not. So that's what happened, and guess what happened? Guess what the outcome was by Friday? Not one sale, not for me. No, not one sale. I was pretty despondent, to be honest with you, because I did do a few presentations. I was happy that some people agreed to let me talk to them in their houses around the kitchen table or lounge area, but yeah, whatever it was, didn't make any sales. So when I phoned in on Friday, I was wanting to quit. I said to Stan, I said, Stan, I don't think I'm cut out for this. I think I'm going to quit. And he said, well, look, you told me previously that you wanted to succeed at this, to overcome shyness, and you wanted to impress your mum. You wanted to make your mum happy. That's true, isn't it? I said, yeah, it was. Well, you don't want to let her down now. You've only given it 5 days. Why don't we go out together on Monday, next Monday? And I said, what do you mean, we? He said, you and me. I want to see what you're doing. I was terrified when I heard those words. Me going out with the number one in the world, and he was going to watch over my shoulder and watch how I did it. Anyway, I agreed to do it and went out with him, and it was a learning experience, let me tell you. I didn't make any sales. Did get into some houses. He was taking notes. He was listening attentively. He didn't say anything. He didn't want to inhibit me. He was just like an observer, right? After we'd done a couple of presentations, he said, "Look, let's go to McDonald's. We have an orange juice and something to eat, and we'll talk about it." And that's what happened. And he showed me. He basically shared the two things that I was missing out on. I wasn't engaging people in conversations. There's a clue: conversations. That's number one. And number two, I wasn't illustrating key points with relevant stories, right? So storytelling, conversations. Wow, powerful combo. So from there, he said, "Look, go home now, rehearse, practice in front of the mirror, whatever, and then go out tomorrow morning, Tuesday, and see what happens." Went out on Tuesday, didn't make any sales, but I did some more presentations, and I felt a lot more confident after talking to Stan the previous day. And then on Wednesday, I made my first sale. I think I may have made two, can't remember. So it gave me a huge boost of confidence. Mum was proud, and it wasn't going to be my life's work. I stayed in the gig, doing the gig for a few months. I made more sales, proved that I could do it, but I wanted to do something else. I didn't really want to knock on doors for the rest of my life. But I got that experience talking with people, important. And then someone offered me a job in the insurance industry, life insurance industry, and I stayed in that industry for 15 years. So I'm a stayer. Most of the time I'm a stayer. I don't like to quit. And I learned a lot in the insurance industry. I had some good years, some bad years, but mostly it was good. And I made some pretty good money. And I recruited my wife. I recruited my wife into the industry as well, and she became, if anything, more successful than me. She was awesome. So that was it, belly-to-belly sales, and I met a lot of great people. I had some fantastic mentors. I write about them on LinkedIn sometimes. And but one of the guys that I met was a fellow called Greg the Gregarious. And he I don't have a photo of him, red-headed guy from Sydney. But he was fantastic because he was probably the most impressive networker I'd ever seen. All of his business came from referrals from within his network, and although I didn't implement what he was teaching, I never forgot it. And the time came in the future when I decided to emulate him, and that's what I'm doing now, all these years later. Then online, what happened in 2006? So we got out of the insurance industry and we started our own business. And we did pretty well for the first few years. 1 year we did pretty well. Selling, actually, it was affiliate marketing, and I was selling high ticket products, and I made over $100,000 just doing it part time from home, and had another business to run with an office and all the rest of it. There's another story there. That one eventually failed. But the affiliate marketing worked pretty well for me. I made $137,000 in the first year, and part-time, and that's in 2006 dollars. So what's that? 300 grand today. And so, people, it worked very well. And a lot of the business came from referrals. Okay, so keep that in mind. Referral-based marketing. During this, and then later on, my son and I went to Cabo San Lucas to attend a big marketing convention. I met this guy. I heard him give one of the talks called, and his name is Mike Koenigs. I met him after his talk. We had a good chat, good conversation for about half an hour. Swapped email addresses, and I kept in touch with him over the years. And Mike was the one who taught me years later, not at that time, but years later, he taught me a new way of driving referrals. So it's consistent, reliable, it just flat out works. So that's Mike the Marvellous. And then finally I ended up transitioning out of the affiliate marketing arena and started to develop my own offers, coaching programs, etc., because I'd become quite successful and people were asking me, oh, can you help me fix this? Can you help me get customers? Can you help me generate leads? Can you help me use Facebook to generate leads and so on? So I thought, there's an opportunity there. So I grabbed it and developed courses and all the rest of it. And one of them was called Try Build a Core. Ended up just with primarily referral-based methods. We ended up selling, just in that launch period, the first few months, about 300 customers bought the course, and then there were upsells from there. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. There's a lot more to the story, but that was the short story. And there's Mike the Marvellous, or Mike the Magnificent. He's on the left, and this was a photo of us taken at Cabo San Lucas in Mexico all those years ago. That was in 2013. And so he, as I said, a few years later, because we kept in touch, he told me about this referral, like an enhanced referral system. So I might touch on that a little bit during this session. All right, that's number one, a little bit about me. Number two is Moolah Magic. It's about money. It certainly is. Now look, you're not greedy, but if your income doubled, your life would likely change for the better, right? And you can positively impact other lives when you're making more money, not just your own. You have a business and sometimes it's successful, but other times not so much. You're probably an expert, you're selling, you've got coaching programs, maybe you're a consultant, maybe you're another type of expert, you're running a marketing agency, something like that. Basically, you're selling your expertise. They're the people that normally get involved with me. But here's one thing I learnt very early in the piece, and I've been in sales and marketing since I was 19. No pipeline, no hope. Pipeline, what's that? That's your ever-growing list of potential clients. They're in the pipeline. They're learning about you. They're building a relationship with you. They're potential clients for you. They're kind of ideal. They're your ideal client prospect, but they're not yet ready to buy. So there's a nurturing process and a learning process for them. They need to learn more about you, how you solve problems, blah, blah, blah. But if you don't have a pipeline, you're in big trouble. A lot of people, a lot of experts in that, they just rely on passive referrals. They'll get from time to time, they'll get a referral from somebody who says, go and help this guy. And then you help them and then they pay you some money. All right, that's nice. But it's not regular in most instances. It's not reliable, it's not solid. So we've got to move beyond that, especially in tough times like these where maybe there are fewer referrals floating around, few of those voluntary, easy referrals floating around because people are nervous, low trust and all the rest of it. So without a pipeline, you're far more likely to suffer from these problems. Unreliable cash flow, more stress, more scrambling to plug a revenue hole when you lose a client or the project finishes. Sometimes that leads to problems with paying the bills, which might lead to problems on the home front, a few tensions at home, maybe some arguments, whatever. And also it can affect your credit rating if you're not paying the bills. Now, I believe in many respects the standard playbook is broken. You've probably tried some version of the typical advice posts, which is such as post more on LinkedIn, share your expertise, add value, maybe run some ads, and it might have worked a little for a while, but here's what's changed. Expertise has been commoditized. AI can generate surface level insights in seconds. Your competitors are posting the same tips, frameworks, and 5 things I learnt type of content. Nobody's an expert as far as your potential clients are concerned. They can't tell the difference. Everyone's an expert now with AI. You can get instant expertise and you can go and sell it, and that's what's happening in some instances. Nobody stands out. So you post more, you go to more networking events, blah, blah, blah. You add more value and the results remain flat. So, look, visibility, I'm not saying that it's not good to be visible. You need to be visible. That's why people have a social media presence, etc. But the real issue is trust. B2B buyers are more skeptical than ever. They've been burned by experts who overpromise. They don't buy based on who posts the most or who has the fanciest website. They buy based on who they trust. And trust comes from three things in the main. Proof. Evidence you've done it before. Have you got that? You got that evidence? Sure? Great. People show me evidence all the time. But you know something that they don't do? They often haven't turned that evidence into a real story with real outcomes. A thrilling story. Success over adversity. People love stories. It's the missing link for a lot of people. You've got evidence, but you don't have the stories. Stories that are on your websites. And I'm not talking about little testimonials. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about stories. The good, the bad, and the ugly, the struggles they had, and so on, until they found you. Warm introductions, a recommendation from someone they already respect. That builds trust. Not a cold DM, direct message on LinkedIn or Facebook or something. Not a connection request with a pitch attached. A referral from a trusted source. It's common sense, isn't it? And then finally, authority. A presence that signals depth. You can do it through content, but you can also do it the way you communicate with people face to face, on the phone, on Zoom calls or whatever. Content that shows you understand their world better than anyone else. So content's important, an important way to do that because it's kind of passive and it'll just sit there in cyberspace for 24 hours a day, right? Who knows when they're going to be reading it, but you don't mind. You don't mind. Then when you're talking with people, the content infuses your thinking and the way you talk to people starts to change for the better. But in the online realm, a digital footprint that says this person is the real deal. So digital is very important. But so are conversations with people, real conversations. Most experts rely on one of these and ignore the other two. They write case studies, but nobody sees them. Or they get an occasional referral, that's very common, but it's random, it's unpredictable, and is subject to the whims and the vagaries of the people that you know. You just never know. It's very nerve-wracking. You never know when it's going to happen. They post on LinkedIn, but it's a monologue, no engagement, no leads. The reason none of these things work in isolation is that they should be working together. Your case studies give referral partners something concrete to share. Your referral partners extend your reach beyond your own network, your own first level connections. Your LinkedIn authority makes every introduction convert at a higher rate. That's my plan. That's my formula. And one channel isn't enough. So when all three of the magic three are linked together and integrated, you don't chase clients. They come to you pre-sold and ready to talk. That's the system. Sometimes you've got to give them a bit of a nudge. I admit that. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. But in the main, they're leaning forward, metaphorically speaking. Okay, fast start. Number 3. It's about leverage. Is this about financial assets like real estate, gold, stocks, or money in the bank? No. Leverage can also be about people, pure and simple. You already have people you know who form part of your warm market. This is where I always start when launching a new campaign or venture, and it's the same method that I use when getting new people started. People who hire me, work with me, I get them started. We look at their existing people assets. Many of the people that I talk to, that I work with, they underestimate the gold that they already have. They just don't have enough self-belief. It's my job to get them excited, to show them pathways through the maze. Clarity ensues. Okay? So we're talking about current people assets, so first degree connections. It could be LinkedIn first degree connections, it could be people you know on Facebook, it could be people you know elsewhere, people you know from the offline world, people you know from networking, whatever. They're all your first connections, okay? They're not second level, they're not level 3. These are the people that you don't know, but other people do, and so those other people can lead you to some of their people so that Therefore, you expand your reach quickly. Build warmth and trust with selected first-level connections. But before I go further, I want to look at the 4 different ways people use LinkedIn, and only one of them works. The LinkedIn 4. Pitch, baby, pitch. Algo, adulation, happy chats, profitable chats. Which one do you think is the one that makes the money? Well, I reckon it's got to be number 4, but some of the earlier ones are important too. But pitch, baby, pitch, probably steer away from that. It's cold pitching method, cold DMs, email spam, and so on. Number 2 is algo adulation. This is where people go crazy trying to prime the algorithm and manipulate the algorithm. It's mighty hard to do now. You could do it a couple of years ago, but now LinkedIn has just made it so difficult to boost your reach, and people's reach has dropped across the board. Engagement has dropped, etc. Does that mean you don't post content? Yeah, you still post because you need to have a source of truth. And you know, if you're doing it properly, you will get some engagement. If you're not doing it properly, you won't get any. Okay, and that's a bit disheartening. Okay, and so yeah, posting, commenting, liking, but let's not spend hours a day on it. Maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour max. Happy chats, yeah, having conversations like networking conversations or networking calls, all good. But unless you've got purpose and an objective, nothing will ever happen. It's just warm and fuzzy, and 3 months of these conversations passes and you haven't generated any money, any revenue. So we need to add a little bit more in there and convert some of these happy chats into profitable chats. Okay, so purposeful conversations that make money. Okay, and that only happens when people trust you. They're prepared to open up a bit. Right, there's a bit of art to this, there's a bit of science to it, but it can be learned. That's the good thing. And once you get the hang of it, it's not hard. It's not hard. It's actually quite pleasant. Now, I conducted profitable chats to get my first clients on LinkedIn in 2021. I did the same thing on Facebook in 2016. Right? This is the first. Facebook was my first social media outing. All right, and then in 2021 I moved across to LinkedIn. I wanted to find better quality people. Not that the Facebook people aren't bad people. They're not, but a lot of them are very small thinkers. So I wanted to attract people a bit more expansive in their thinking. People who've got more solid businesses. So what I did, so I conducted profitable chats to get my first clients in 2021. In the latter, say from about May or something like that, I started getting my first clients. First one was $60,200. This is US dollar. The next one was $11,000. The next one was only $425. He wanted me to do it. There was a little writing thing, and he asked me very nicely would I do it. So I said yeah. And then there was another one for $10,000. This is all in this is in 2021. Okay, so on I went from that. So how did I do it? I created a valuable asset, and it was a free report. How to solve this problem for this particular niche. All right, and I targeted people, and it was the accountant. It was accountants. That was the first test, and the second test was business coaches. Yes. So, and then I just I sent them DMs. Okay, but they were already first level connections, and I gave. It was a gift. So it's better to give than to ask. It's better to give people something than to ask them to do an appointment or something like that with you. Right, so I said, look, I've created this report. It's for accountants, and this is the heading. I don't mind whether you do or you don't, but if you think it might be relevant for you, just let me know. That was it. Right? Now, I don't do things like that now. I've changed it a bit, but it worked. It worked. About 15% said, yeah, that sounds interesting to me, and then a percentage of those became hot leads and then clients. So I opened conversations, I discovered their hot button, I offered the asset, the valuable asset, the free report, and followed up, book calls, did deals. That was it. All right, number 4, go for growth. Your new people assets. Okay, so we're talking about your warm market, your existing assets. Now we've got to go for growth because you're going to run out of your warm market. You may have 50 in your warm market, you may have 10, you may have 500. I don't know. I'd have to work through that with you to see what you've got and then make an assessment as to the quality and the likelihood of them turning into a lead and ultimately business. Okay, that's something I would do with you if I was working with you. So we have to grow our network. It's absolutely essential that we do this, and so We can have assets such as lead magnets. You can use that method before, so that I mentioned before. It could be a free report, a white paper, a video, an event. I'm tending to move towards events, little events with a small number of people, intimate, etc. That's I quite like that. And of course, case studies, but they're story-based case studies, real stories, hero stories. This is what people want to read. No point creating a case study if no one reads it, right? So it's got to be thrilling. It's got to be a story that hooks people in, grabs them from the get-go. There's one there, and this is one of my former students actually. Connie attracts 121 customers in 5 months after I worked with her. Okay? And without spending money on ads, being salesy or annoying people, I just taught her a very simple method on Facebook, using Facebook groups, and it worked like gangbusters. It was incredible. And, you know, she's retired now. This was in 2018 when she came on board. And this is the case study, and I'm not going to go through it now. If you want to read it, let me know, and I'll give you the PDF, or I'll give you the link, whatever. But I've just broken it up because I cannot fit all of the case study onto these slides. So I'll just show you the headings in the case study. A new adventure begins. See, it's a story, right? Show, don't tell, our process explained. Always explain the process that you use. I always do. And there's a photograph. We ended up meeting up with them, flew them to Bali. I had my then partner with me, and then Connie was on the right, looking at this photo, or on my left, and then her husband was on the other side there. Okay, so that's it. And then we close off the case study. Your business is unique, but your problems may not be. A new adventure for you, or there's a call to action, blah, blah, blah. That's it. That's case studies, and if we use them properly, we get leads, we get clients from them. Beautiful. All right, so your people assets. You need to connect with ideal people. We're wanting to grow your base, your network, your referral ecosystem, ideally. You need talking points, such as LinkedIn birthdays. You can do that. I don't always do it, but you can get notified from LinkedIn, and that's their birthday. Wish them happy birthday. You can do that. They get a promotion or something like that. Gives you an excuse to say, hey, you're not trying to pitch them. Just say, send them a message and say, hey, I noticed you've taken on a new client with your business, or I noticed you've just completed a course, blah, blah, congratulations. Another one, the one that I like, is location, education. If they went to a school that either myself, that I've been to, or someone in my family has been to, or one of my friends has been to, I might use that as a common talking point. Business, if there's something there that is sort of interesting, something that I've got some relevant information for them, maybe I'll share that. But quite often I just start off a little bit personal. I see that you're living in Sydney, Australia. I see that you're living in LA. I see you're living in Miami, Florida. Last time I was there was in when was that? That was 2000 and something or other. I cannot remember when it was, but yeah, and I had a great time, blah, blah, blah. See? Trying to find something in common. And they're conversations, not sales pitches. Okay, so here's some examples here. I noticed that. Pick something relevant to them. Don't talk business straight off. Look for commonalities. Like I said, school you went to, blah, 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 the town that they grew up in. I look at their experiences and things like that. Oh, I see that you lived in France for a while. Things like that, anything at all. And say France is my favourite country. Obviously, if it's not your favourite country, you don't have to say that, but something, whatever is relevant. And then you can do an ask. You can make an ask when people are warming up, and the conversation. And this could spread over many days. Invite them to something you're doing. It could be a little event that you're running. Hey, maybe you're running it in conjunction with me. I'll collaborate. Or you can say this. Look, why don't we hop on Zoom and see if we can create referral opportunities for each other. You've got some people that may be able to help me. I've got some people that could help you. I'm happy to introduce. When you've got this mindset, the ask becomes very, very easy, and you'll get a high rate of people who will say, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do it. In fact, as I record this, I've had 2 today say, Okay, number 5, your referral ecosystem for exponential growth. Can't just rely on your warm audience. We have to go beyond that. And the best way to do it, in my experience, has been through referral ecosystems, because once you've got it set up, you'll have an endless flow of new warm introductions, some of whom will be potential clients. And talk about pipeline. This is the best way to build a pipeline. So, second degree connections, the people you haven't met yet. 2 paths: yourself, the people you know, that's first level. And the second one is multiple levels, leverage other people's networks. Let's see if we can plug into them. Future people assets, expand your influence and impact through channel partners, authority influencers, and collaborations. Now I'll explain them very briefly to you. Just go back to number 1. Channel partners, referral partners. These are people who are in your industry or related industries. They're already handling your type of client. Okay? And sometimes they'll have clients that need your service. Okay? There's a downside. It doesn't always produce quick results. Sometimes it does, other times it can take months and months. Authority influencers, these are the door openers. They may not be able to introduce you to a client, someone who is in buy mode now, but they can introduce you to other influencers, other connected people. They can open doors for you. They can create warm pathways for you. Very, very important. And then finally, collaborations, cross-promotion partners where you promote each other's products or services, offers to your respective connections, contacts, clients. There we go. Collaborations, cross-promotion partners, and promote each other's offers. Collaboration for quick dollars, quick revenue. Because you can run. Told you at the beginning of this talk that I ran, that we targeted accountants a few years ago when I first started with LinkedIn, got clients from it. But what I didn't tell you was that in the 1990s, we ran workshops for accountants in Australia, firstly in Sydney and then in Brisbane. And some of the accountants that attended those workshops became clients. And we helped them with their marketing, their messaging, and so on. Even created newsletters, client newsletters for them, and yeah, lots of different things. But one of the other things that we did is that we did a promotion with them, where we said, look, we will run an evening for your clients, your business clients, and it'll be called Grow Your Business. Okay? And then the idea is that I'll give a talk, but you give a talk as well, because they're your clients, you need to connect with them. And I bet you can educate them about some of the other services, the other skills that you have. Most people think that their accountants are there to do their tax returns, make sure compliance matters are taken care of, have a bit of a chit-chat about the profit and loss. That's about it. But accountants have many more skills than that. So what we did in several times with different accountants, we ran a session for them. We organised the whole thing at a hotel, and then we got them to invite their clients to the hotel. It was catered for. I paid for everything. Okay, and we even wrote the invitation, and we ran the invitation on their letterhead. They gave us a bunch of blank letterheads, and then we got the printer to put the message onto the letterhead. Did all sorts of things like that and make it easy for them. The accountants didn't have to think about it. That's a joint promotion. That's a smart promotion. So their accountants would come along, their clients would come along. Sometimes we only had maybe 15 to 20 clients come along. Other times we had 50 to 100. It really depended on the accountant, the number of clients they had, the relationship that they had with their clients, etc. but it was successful. It was successful. The accountant got more fee income out of it, out of his talk, and we got new clients, marketing clients for our business. It's a beautiful thing, and in some respects, I regret moving away from the accounting profession. Why did I do it? I got sick of their obsession about compliance and tax and all. It's just not my deal, right? But in some ways, it was a stupid thing to do. But didn't matter. We made some very, very good money during that period. All right. So referral partner cultivation and development. Now, basic partners, this will depend on whether, irrespective of whether they go back to the beginning here. Depending on whether they're channel partners or referral partners, the other term we use, authority influencers or collaborators, okay, joint venture arrangements, promoting to each other's clients, or not, maybe just promoting like I did with the accountants. I didn't give them any of our clients. It was too difficult because I was dealing with a number of accountants. Who am I going to favour? But we can run these workshops for their clients, and we can do it over and over again with different accountants. Okay? Some instances we did pay the percentage of the revenue that flowed to us. But more often than not, they didn't want it because they were getting more revenue from their clients after giving the talk. And the clients booked a time with the accountants, and the accountants then helped them with other areas of their business. Right? And the accountants are happy with that. So that's it. But what you've got to say is, who are the people that that are really leaning forward and excited about these arrangements? Who are the people that are really revved up about it? Well, they'd be your growth partners. These are people who've got a bigger vision, and they want to do a lot of this stuff. They want to build a seriously strong referral ecosystem and collaborative arrangements. Right, but then you've got your basic partners. They're not so. They're supporting it, but they're not going to live and breathe it every day. Right. So you do weekly emails or monthly calls with them, just to keep in touch, prompts them, primes them, give them other reasons. One of the things that I'm going to be doing is my committed referral partners. They're going to come to a monthly session with me on Zoom. It'll be a sharing and caring session. All right. And but also an educational session, pumping them up, getting them excited about some of the new innovations that I'm introducing. So those people, they're growth partners, but the basic partners still take care of them as well. All right, now creating demand, number 6. Inbound is better than outbound. Yeah, it is. So fill your pipeline through events. That's one of my favourite ways of generating inbound. That plus just continuing to cultivate your referral ecosystem, the people in your referral ecosystem, giving more time to those that are keener, and you do it that way, plus the case studies used properly. Now, I haven't got time to show you how to use the case studies so they generate more leads. That's for another day. All right, so what type of events? Well, I do Zoom events, but you can do in-person events if you want. But, I don't necessarily want to travel halfway across town. I have connections all over the world. Well, I'm not going to fly to different countries. So I just make it easy on myself and make it Zoom events. I don't care where you live. Who will attend the event? Well, who will attend the event? Well, they could be events for your clients. They could be events for your prospective clients. But if we're talking about referral ecosystem, it's the people that are likely to, or who have already referred you some people, introduced you to some people. They may not have given you clients yet, but they've introduced you to some really good people who are connected, and then you're doing some work with them. All right, so who will attend the event? That will depend on your goal. How to find people for your events? Well, you've already got first level connections, and you're meeting new people through your second level connections, through your ecosystem, right? So this is the key. We can't just rely on first level all the time. Let's open new pathways. And another thing you can do is consider recruiting or hiring a co-host. We can do that for you. If you work with us, we can do the hosting, we can interview you, make you look good. We have a micro event, we may have somewhere between 5 and 10 people. Your people, sometimes we can invite people for you as well. Okay, so events are really great. Innovate or die. Okay, this is my little final topic. I didn't mention at the beginning because I don't have a slide for it. I'm just saying that, look, if you keep doing the same old things in the same old way, guess what? You're going to have the same old results. So you've got to innovate. Now, I understand that some of my ideas are innovative. They are. But if we don't innovate, we're going to die. We'll stagnate because something will come along, a major trend, a major shift, and because you haven't moved with the times, you're caught in a negative vortex. Okay? So we have to innovate. We have to. And so that's about leading the market. People say to me, oh, but none of my colleagues are doing any of these things. You're talking about micro Zoom events, you're talking about referral ecosystems and all of this kind of stuff. I don't know anybody that's doing this. We just get a few referrals here and there as they come, but that's about all us experts do. Why should I stand out from the pack? Well, if you don't stand out from the pack, you're going to be just like everyone else in the pack. Don't try and impress your peers. Who cares about them? Who cares about them? They're your competitors. They're your competitors. And if they don't steal your lunch, if one of those competitors don't steal your lunch, I'd be very surprised because some of them are probably doing it already. Right? So we need to innovate, and then we need to lead from the front. That's it, folks. How to quickly leverage your networks and gain more referrals and clients, and without being a content slave or doing cold outreach. You get some value from that? All right, what's the next step? Well, you can send me a message on LinkedIn, Kim Willis. You can send me an email. Some of you may be on my email list. You can subscribe to my newsletter. It comes out every Wednesday. It's free. And we talk more about these topics and related topics. So it's up to you. You can go to my personal website, kimwillis.net. Have a look around there. If you like the idea of working with me, we've got different ways of doing it. Often we can fit people's budget, even if you're on a tight budget. We have different ways. One is more of like a group community. That's a lot cheaper. A personal assignment, okay, that requires more an investment, but it really comes back to your own situation. So let's, you want to have a talk about any of these ideas or just pick my brains, feel free to give me a hoy. Say hi and tell me what you're thinking about. Kim Willis. Bye for now.